the real show. This is the real life.
This is the real show. Okay. Hi, I'm Deirdre Wilson, and this is Out of the Blue. Of course, this is a show on animals, the environment, spirituality, and my cat Heaven has decided to make an appearance today. I usually lock her in the other room, but because my guest today is animal communicator Donna Dvorak, I thought, I've got to have Heaven in the room with me, right?
Of course, and she knows it.
So Donna, thank you so much for being with us today. It's a fascinating subject, talking about communicating with our animals, because I think a lot of people out there have such love and affection for their dogs, for their cats, for their birds, for whatever, and they would love to know how to communicate with them and how to better their lives, right?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk about the animals and everything,
good.
So it's
I'm
very
glad.
exciting.
This has been a long time coming to have Donna on, so I'm so happy to have her here today. Now, you grew up in the Czech Republic.
Yes.
And it was communism, and you didn't really have the openness to be involved in spirituality or being an intuitive.
Right. I grew up first. I mean, really, I grew up on the farm in the middle of nowhere. So I was really
Isolated.
Yes, and so I was the only child for the longest time, and so I didn't have anybody to play with. So I would just stay with animals, and I'd be outside all the time and play with them. And when I would sit next to them, I realized that I feel something in my heart, in my chest right here.
Wow.
And that time I was little, I didn't know what I'm doing. So I would feel something here, and then I would feel this stream of energy between me and the animal, and then I used to call it that as a kid. I used to say, I step out of myself, human, and become the animal. And I
love it.
And that's how, and then I would become the animal, and then I would understand the thoughts, and the animal would send me, the visuals. I would feel what the animal feels. I would also feel its pain, whatever the pain would be. And I didn't know, and that's actually the core of animal communicating. That's what we do.
Tell me something. Is it true that other animal communicators have been on Out of the Blue, and they've told me that animals communicate through pictures in their mind telepathically? You send them a picture, they send a picture back, they send pictures to each other.
Yes, exactly. That's absolutely true. Because animals communicate by visuals and, excuse me, and by feelings. And you exchange visuals and feelings, and that's the beauty of telepathy, is that there is no boundaries. Like you can communicate with the animal which is on the other side of the world, and it's fine.
Which is amazing. So you can do your animal communication for people by phone if people are interested, type of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so people at home, let's say they're going away on vacation, and their dog or cat is distressed. What can they do? What kind of message could they send their animal, or visual, I should say, that will ease them?
This is what I suggest, because when we speak, because all of us actually are able to communicate telepathically. That's how we communicated
I believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we had speech, but now we talk, so we get lazy and kind of push the telepathy down to the bottom. But when we must, we rekindle it. So what I recommend when you go away, just simply say to your animal, like take time with them and just say, look, I'm going away, and I'm gonna be away for 4 days, and I will come back. I love you, and I will come back. And just
visualize yourself like maybe coming back in the door.
No, just simply in the beginning, when you have nothing, when you don't know nothing about animal communication, just simply speak to the animal face to face, and just slowly speak the words aloud.
How much are they understanding of the words?
What happens is they have, because they don't realize.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, this happens automatically. Everything when you speak, you make automatic pictures in your mind, but they are so fast that you do not really recognize them.
Well, what about the emotion behind it? They must feel that
and
too.
They feel the emotion. So what the animal does, though, it hooks on those pictures, because subconsciously you showing the animal,
Right.
I'm packing my suitcase,
Right.
I'm walking out, I'm coming, I'm taking the plane. So they will even know where you're going and all that.
They will know?
Yeah, because you have it in your mind.
So is it true though that when I've heard that when you leave, your animal doesn't know if you're coming back or not? And that's where the stress lies.
If you don't tell them,
They're not sure.
They are not sure because they don't know. But if you tell them, you make a point of sitting with them and make them understand. So just like we're speaking together face to face, you tell them, I am going on the trip,
Right.
and we have to tell them always how long, because
Right.
they will. And
I
then,
do that. I do
yes.
that. I say, and someone said picture dark like nighttime, daytime, nighttime,
Yes.
daytime, because they can relate to
Yes.
how many days it's going to be dark and light, dark and light.
Absolutely. That's just talking with words. I'm just suggesting as a quick tool for everybody.
Right.
If you want, when I have clients who want me to tell their animals they're leaving, then of course I count dark for night and light for
I
the
love
day,
it.
and so dark and light
Yes.
make together one day.
Yes.
So then I count the nights and the lights, and then show them when the person comes back.
Unbelievable.
And a lot of times I remember this, I had a client who left, and she left her cat home, but she just didn't think about contacted me to explain the cat what's going on. Cat was upset and he stopped eating, and so the girl who was it was an older cat, so that's everything's important for. So the cat sitter calls the girl and said, something wrong with your cat, he's not eating. So finally she asked me, can you please talk to my kitty? So I talked to him, and he was so mad. He said, nobody tells me anything. Okay,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. No,
He was-
nobody tells me anything. That happens at home to me too.
He was just so mad, and that's why he was not eating. And he said, yeah, I know they left, but I am like nothing, I'm a piece of furniture. He was angry. Well, he was a male cat, and he was actually he felt he was the man of the house because this girl lived alone with her daughter, and so he was taking care of him, and now they just leave.
It's like not telling your husband you're leaving.
Yes, exactly, same thing.
And the thing is with them, I don't know if we always realize or always are conscious of the fact that they rely on us for everything, for the food they eat, for drinking, to go outside, for conversation, for warmth. They're like humans. I mean, they need that contact and that
Absolutely.
verbal, talk to make them feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just as you said. It's like your husband would leave for 2 weeks and didn't say
And
anything.
hey,
You're
yeah,
like,
what's
where
that
are you?
all about?
What's going on?
That is so funny. That is so funny. All right, I know you worked as a model years ago.
Yes.
Also, you're a beautiful woman, so I can see that you worked as a model.
I want to add something which people don't know, but I also am a lawyer.
Oh my God! Well,
So
she's surprising me on my own show. I didn't even know that.
I was a lawyer before I was a model.
Was that in my research? I don't know.
No, actually it's not. But I never really, because I'm a lawyer in my country.
I missed
and
that. Okay.
I never really, I don't want to pursue it, but I have the education and everything. But I now start to take it out a little bit more because I'm very analytical. And I am like, okay, if you don't have the proof, if the things is not proven to me, it works.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Well, you're perfect for being an animal communicator then, because here she is, the left and the right brain are working really, really well. She's a very logical person, and you need proof. And here she believes in the spiritual and what you can't see and what you can't touch, which is what I've always believed in, just innately.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I think that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm happy, and I really didn't want to be a lawyer. In my country, you go study what your parents decide. So I become a lawyer. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I hated it. I'm not going to say that. Okay, I didn't want to be a lawyer.
Right.
But I really appreciate it now because, as you say, I have the logics, and I think it makes such a big difference for the spiritual stuff. Because
Does it really help with the spiritual stuff?
Yeah.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Well, because I can, for example, this is something what I actually work with my human clients. It's called the basic protective exercise, and it's to me, it's like brushing your teeth, right? You basically create a big shield, protective bubble around yourself every morning. So none of the negativity, be it the stress, bad energy, anything is not gonna penetrate the shield. And I did it. I've been doing this forever. So I remember I used to be sick. Every year I'd be sick like 3 times like a dog. I would be in bed for 2 weeks with flu, horrible. Anybody around me just look at me who had a little bit of a sneeze and I caught it. Well, since I've been doing the protection, I will swear I will never get sick.
That's fabulous.
So this protection.
All right. So we need to protect ourselves in the morning when we wake up.
Yes.
Turn your life over to God and protect yourself with white light so that you don't have that negative. You're not going to run into negative people or have negative circumstances.
Right. And even if you do, you don't care because you have the light, and
absolutely
it will not affect you.
Exactly.
Even germs. And
yes.
So I don't advertise anything unless I prove it to myself first that it works. So I think that's the lawyer, and that's why I'm sticking to it now.
Well, I'll tell you, I know another animal communicator, and she was a marine biologist, Marty Meyer, and I got to tell you, that was so interesting to me that she went from being a marine biologist, she was very cerebral, to being an animal communicator, and you, an attorney, becoming an animal communicator. I think it makes it easier for people out there to believe, hey, this stuff is real. This is not just airy-fairy stuff.
That's exactly, and that's why I want to emphasize, being a lawyer, because,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'm not like the airy-fairy, blah, 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 and light stuff. No, I mean, prove it to me that it works, and then I am with it.
I love it. Well, you sold me. All right, so I'm going to tell you a really interesting story. Okay? I had a cat named Bella that was sick, and she died. And 2 weeks before she died, she left me a perfectly shaped broken heart in the cat pan, which blows my mind.
Amazing.
And I'm going to show you the picture up close. And you can tell it's in a cat pan. Now, I'm going to also show you a larger version of that. And I guess she was telling me that she had a broken heart. Both of us actually had the broken heart. So I asked her to come back to me in a new, healthy body. Never done this before, have had animals my whole life. I just don't know what came over me, but I was compelled to do this. And so I asked her to come back, and I started looking for a new kitten a few months later. I consulted my animal communicator friend, and because I didn't know Donna yet, and she said, yeah, she's coming back. And I said, is she going to be totally gray striped like she was? Her name was Bella, and I love the name Bella. And she goes, no, she's going to come back white with gray stripes. And she said, she's not going to be in a shelter because she knows how sensitive you are and that you're not going to want to go to a shelter, which I got to tell you, hands down, is so true. It's so depressing for me to go into a shelter. Yeah. So she was going to be at a pet rescue place. So I started looking for her, and I looked at pictures online, and I sent them to the animal communicator, like 7 pictures, didn't write anything about them, like I feel this about this one or that one. And I felt something for this one photo, and she called me up and she goes, I think it's this one. She picked exactly the same one that I did, which
amazing.
Blew my mind. Then I'm like, okay, this is it. I have to go get this cat. So I adopted my cat, my little kitten, through Petco. And I said to my animal communicator, does she want the same name? I love the name Bella. And she goes, no, she doesn't want to be associated with her sick body. She was blind in one eye. She had the liver disease. And she wanted a new, fresh name for her healthy body. So I went and I got this kitten. And I'm still thinking to myself, wait a minute, is this like really happening to me? Is this really Bella, So I wasn't sure. But I was trusting the process, and she was climbing up the cat tree one day, the same cat tree that I had from Bella that I saved for the new body. And this is what I saw on her back. It's a perfectly shaped, I hope you can see it, broken heart, just like the one in the cat pan, which blew my mind. Here she is as a little kitten. So I call her Heaven because she came back from heaven to me. So then I'm shopping in a homeopathic drugstore, and I get a fragrance, a little roll-on, that's at the counter. And I don't look at the name of it, and I bring it home, and I noticed the name. What do you think the name of this fragrance was? Now, this is going on all at the same time that I'm looking for this new kitten to come back to me. And the name of it was Bella, but not just Bella, Bella's Soul. The fragrance was Bella's Soul. I mean, there were signs everywhere, right?
It's incredible.
So here she is as a grown cat, and you can see still that amazing broken heart, like the one she left in the cat pan on her back. And I'm just going to go back and show you the one in the cat pan again so you can compare. How does a cat leave a perfect shaped broken heart in a cat pan?
I mean, it's amazing.
So she looks like this today and has extremely loving eyes for me, as you can tell.
She's a cutie.
And her name is Heaven. But what is your take on this? Because it happened to me, and I'm quite frankly blown away.
I am too, but it's really, you know, it doesn't surprise me. It's a beautiful story, but it doesn't surprise me in a way because, you know, the animals and the universe, I mean, they try to give you a messages as much as they can, you know, and this is such a absolutely, it's clear. It can be
It's
any
very
more
definitive,
clear.
right?
Yes, it's 100% clear message. Like, you know, I love you, I'm sorry to leave you. And then, yes, I'm coming back and you will recognize me when I come back.
I almost want to cry. Hearing my own story, I almost want to cry.
Well, it's, you know, it never really becomes, you never become immune to that because it's such a heartfelt story. It's amazing.
Oh my God, it is. And it's just, you know, further confirmed everything that I already believed.
Exactly.
But, you know, some people don't believe that animals have souls. Some people don't believe they can reincarnate.
Right. Well, and that is, yeah, I don't even know what to say about people who don't believe animals have souls. You know, that's just really,
I mean, they're a living thing that God made,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
Of course.
Living,
and
feeling
everything
thing.
has soul. I mean, so here, but with the past lives, it's really interesting because I always believe in reincarnation since I was, I don't know how old. I always believed it and I was always intrigued by it. But I never heard, when I started to work as the animal communicator, I never knew that animals would have a past lives. I mean, I never thought about it.
You never thought about it?
No, I mean, I knew people had.
Right.
And I know there is all kind of like a, you know, karmic hierarchy. You do bad things, you're going to become mosquito, and then you work it up, and then you're going to become, you know, through the animal chain, you're going to become a person. So when I started with the animal communication professionally, and I was working, I was just working, you know, normally like behaviors, messages, just like every animal
Every day,
communicator.
yeah.
Exactly. Well, and then I had a story of Charlie, which really changed how I perceive everything. So the story of Charlie is this. Charlie was a beautiful King Charles Cavalier Spaniel, you know, the dog, the doggy. And his lady came to me because Charlie had tremendous anxiety, but I mean beyond anxiety. He would only with her, even though, you know, it was a family, but it was only her. And he would never leave her alone, never. Like she couldn't even go to the bathroom, nowhere. The dog would have fits.
My cat Lacey, my dog Lacey's like that. Anxiety, yeah.
Well, he would go berserk. He would have fits. Like he had to see her all the time.
That's serious.
Yes, it was really serious because she said, look,
She couldn't leave the house.
No, she couldn't because they were afraid that something's going to physically, he's going to hurt himself, you know.
Right.
So, and there was no reason why he would have these fits because he was not a rescue or a bad cat.
Right.
He was with her since he was a puppy. He was from a respectable breeder. He had a great life. So she said, please do something, see what's wrong. So I was I'm looking at Charlie, talking with him, and expecting just a regular session. And then suddenly I'm seeing past life of Charlie being a human baby, a boy, being born to the lady who now is his lady, but in that past life she was his mother and she was giving birth to Charlie. Now, the birth was very difficult.
Right.
And as soon as he was born, they took him away from her and she died.
So he's got that separation anxiety and abandonment thing going on.
Yes. So the information I see here, that he grew up to be a man, have his life, but he always felt inside the guilt and also the sadness. He never met his mother.
Amazing.
And the anxiety, the fear of, and so it actually translated into his current life as a dog, Charlie, to his lady. And so and he doesn't even, because he doesn't even know where is it from. It's just subconsciously comes.
Sure.
As soon he does not want to leave her, because he feels that if he doesn't see her with his eyes, she will never
she'll go away.
She's gone.
So what did you do to combat this?
What I do is I just resolve, I heal the past life, and also I relate to the dog.
How do you heal the past life?
Just you basically, when I do it for somebody else, I will send white light to the life, all the, and just dissolve it completely into white light.
Wow.
And then...
Did it work?
Yes. Now, the funniest thing was though that, and also with animals, I would explain to them, like, look, this is no longer your life, and you don't have to worry. She's not going anywhere. She loves you. So I give him also
the reassurance. So they understand.
Yes,
like
exactly.
where it comes from.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Very interesting. I think that my dog Lacey has something similar because he's a shadow to everybody. And we don't know why.
From then, this was the first time, and I when I saw it, and I was like petrified. I was like, oh my God, that's what I'm seeing. This is crazy. I've never seen.
And did you at that time believe that the soul of an animal could change to a human, or a human could change into a
I wouldn't say I believe it or I didn't believe it. I just didn't know that exists, the possibility. But when I saw this past life, even though I never heard about it, I was like, you know what, it resonates with me because I'm seeing all these proofs. And when I told the lady, because I was petrified to tell her, because I was thinking, what is she gonna tell me? She's gonna say, you are like, off the rack.
Right.
And so, but you know what? She actually started crying, and she said, you know what? I am so grateful to you to talk to me about this, because I always felt this strange connection, like he's my child, like really strong connection.
So there's a part of her that knew that was true.
Yes,
in her soul, part of her Akashic records, her soul records, right?
She felt it.
Isn't that amazing? And you have opened my mind to something, because I was told by other people, I guess animal communicators, that animals always stay animals. They don't come back as humans, or vice versa, but you're saying they can cross over.
Absolutely. And you know what, since this was my first past life, and then since then it just opened the doors for this, and so pretty much I've seen hundreds and hundreds of past lives of animals, and it sometimes just the animals can reincarnate to different animal species,
right?
But they can also reincarnate to humans and back. And what I realized, besides being that extremely helpful for the animals and their people, because it corrects the behavior. They understand what's happening.
What's it like to be human? What's it like to be an animal, a cat, a dog?
And what is the relationship? Why, for example, you and your cat were siblings in past life, and what happened there, why now the cat is really upset at you and peeing out of the kitty box, because it's telling you still something which has roots in that past life.
I see.
So, but what the biggest lesson I learned from it was that actually, and this is something which some people might just, but 100% I believe it, because it was proven to me that the soul is always the same. It doesn't matter if you're speaking to the soul in the physical body of the dog or physical body of the human. There is no hierarchy as if to reincarnate to the human or an animal. You can go back and forth.
A soul is a soul.
Exactly. And you know what is why the soul reincarnates, which body the soul picks, is all based on experience. What the soul needs to gain
learn
in the particular life.
Yes.
And it picks the body which is the best suited
Teacher
for the experience.
Yeah. That I know, and I so believe in, and it explains
Yes.
a lot of things to me. So I love the fact that a soul is a soul, and how sacred it is.
Exactly.
And that the people we love, you know, even our family or friends, can come back around. I think you pretty much surround yourself with a lot of the same souls because you're working through
Yes.
things, working things out.
Absolutely.
So on that note, you are not just an animal communicator, an attorney, a model. No, I'm kidding. She just does the animal communicating now, but she's also an intuit. Tell us about your soul training classes because they're new. It sounds exciting.
Yes, thank you. I actually, well, this all started again. I go back to the past life with Charlie because, and then learning the past lives between the people about,
Right.
and animals, and realizing the soul is a soul no matter what body it is in.
And you're teaching this to people.
I'm teaching it, but also I work with people, you know, like for just regular sessions.
Oh, one-on-one plus
Yes,
a class.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So actually, it started with sessions first because I had people who, my animal clients, they would say, hey, by any chance are you working with people? Because they were intrigued by the past lives and they wanted to know more. And also, which I didn't mention, you know, when I talk to animal, I recognize two parts of the animal. How do I say? Physical. I call it, and that's my terminology. I call it the physical self,
Right.
which means like when I speak to the dog and the dog's saying, okay, you know, I want to go for a walk there and I want a pink color and my water is not cold enough and I want treats. And then suddenly it flips into completely different part, which is the higher self of this
Right.
animal, and starts to tell me about the past life, starts to tell me
Wow.
about
What a switch going from treats to past lives,
isn't
right?
it? And they just
That
it just
is
happens
something.
like this, and the animals can actually tell you about your health problems. They can see what health problems you have or you might have in the future. And
Now, is that true of cats as well? Because I know dogs can sniff out cancer and things.
this comes from their higher self. You know,
So
from
this
like
doesn't
higher,
have to do whether they're a dog or a cat. It's just their
anything.
higher self.
If you have even your lizard can tell you.
Oh my
It doesn't
God.
matter. It's just part of the higher self. Just like we have higher self, and if we are able to connect to it, we would be able to
How
extract.
would they let you know? Let's say I have a low thyroid. How does my cat let me know? Or my dog?
They tell you, they try to tell you, but most of the time, sometimes I remember, okay, I had this gentleman who had a burst aorta, and he
A
burst aorta.
aorta in the heart.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And
Love
he-
her accent.
Sorry, never goes away. And so he actually, and he had a fish, betta fish, and the fish knew that he is gonna have the aorta because it feels in its body. It connects to the guy and feels it. The fish was giving me his, you know, like couldn't breathe and her heart heavy. And so, but she was trying to tell him, but he's not gonna listen. She was swimming around in his ball and say, hey, here. But you know,
But yeah.
they know. So
Unless he was an animal communicator and was more in tune that he could pick up on the visual, the fish would probably, or whatever animal would
Yes.
send a picture of something wrong with the heart.
yes, absolutely. I mean, for sure. But sometimes I think you can, just because I know these cases, you can talk, you sit with your animal and suddenly you start thinking about something. Let's say you're gonna start thinking, well, I should not really eat too much salt stuff because it is bad for my feet swell.
And that may be coming from them.
That's coming from them.
Okay.
Yes.
So being open and aware, and these classes help to train you how to better do this.
Well, okay, so I'm all over the place. So no, this is part of as I was going with how people try to also see if I work with people.
Okay.
So because
okay.
I get all these
I'm sorry. We were on
No,
the soul
no.
training class and we went off. Okay.
No, it's I'm sorry, it's just a little, but anyway, so people would try to get me to see if I work with them too.
Right.
And first I would be,
That's
no.
interesting.
Yeah, because you know
I
they-
wouldn't even think to ask an animal communicator, well, can you do a reading on me?
Well, you know, I was thinking the same thing, right? But because they see these past lives and what's wrong with their health and all kind of like, you know.
It makes sense. I mean,
Yes.
if you're Intuitive, you're intuitive, and it would be with, I think, any living thing, correct?
It really is.
Or events or whatever.
Absolutely. And so, but once I learned the soul is the soul, so I'm like, first I was like, no, I don't want to, I'm stick with my animals. But then I'm like, why not, right? I'll do it. And so I start working with people. And that's what I call my work with people, I call soul training, because what the trainer really does for your body, I do for your soul.
I love it. A soul train. You work out your body.
Yes.
You work out your mind. You got to work out your soul too, right? You need a soul trainer. I love it.
Thank you.
That's a great thought.
I go to the gym myself and I have a trainer, so I know how he works. And it just made a sense to me, because just like our body, our soul needs discipline. And because it doesn't, just because you connect with your spirituality doesn't mean your soul automatically is in the best shape.
Exactly. No, that makes a lot of sense. That is so cool.
And the other thing also was that people always try to say, well, what are you? Are you psychic, medium? Are you life coach? I'm like, no.
They try to put you in a box, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, no. What I like to do is I help you achieve your goal, but also, most importantly, I want to give you the tools and the discipline
to do it yourself.
And that's what trainer does. They want to set you on the right diet,
and
give you the program.
It's up to you.
Eventually, they help you to get into shape.
Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. And then you can go on and do it yourself.
That's
great.
That's I love that. Do you also, like, how some people that are intuitive know when there's going to be an earthquake or know about, national disasters or some type of thing? Do you get that type of information?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I can, if I want to, I do that. But the funniest thing is, once I teach my people, that's what they can do themselves too.
Then they do it, which is nice.
Yeah, because I want them to
make them self-sufficient.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do your own which is very generous of you, because you could just, make money doing readings, but you're teaching people how to do it themselves. What's that saying, give someone a fish, they have fish for the day. Yeah. Teach them how to fish, they have fish forever.
Forever. Well, because also I noticed by working with people that, okay, you come to me, you are a mess, I fix you up. I clean, I unblock, everything. You're leaving, all great.
I love it.
But then in a few weeks, you come back again, because it all just fall, because inside you were not ready. You were not working, doing the work yourself. You just let me fix it. It's just like when if you decide to lose weight, right, and you're lazy, you don't want to diet, you don't want to exercise, you take diet pills, drop it, and then as soon as you stop taking
it comes back.
It's back.
So tell us how long your soul training classes are and how we can get in touch with you if someone wants to have an animal communication reading or wants to go to Donna's soul training class.
So if you want to I have a website for animals.
Okay, so what is it? Share with us, please.
It's Dvorak, animalcommunicator.com.
And that's D-A-N-A, like Dana, but it's pronounced Donna. Dvorak, D-V-O-R-A-K.
Yes.
Donna Dvorak, Donna spelled D-A-N-A, D-V-O-R-A-K.
Yes. And for my soul training, I am in process to putting together a website. So I don't have a website up yet, but you can contact me via my email, which is lasuteh@yahoo.com. And you can ask, I'll be happy to send you my soul training classes program and answer any questions you might have. Or if you want to book a session and start your soul training, it's all up to you.
And also I want to mention that Donna lives in West LA, California, because this could be going out to anywhere in the world, and you're probably like, where is this woman? You do one-on-one in person or just on the phone?
With animals, obviously it's remotely, so I work with animals all over the world. I have clients in Japan, in Europe, so animal doesn't need to be present at all.
You'll do it on the phone?
Yeah, what I do is I actually don't even need the person on the phone. I need a picture and the name of the animals and the problems, and then I do the session remotely, and then we can speak on the phone, or I send you an email or MP3. With people, I can work on the phone or also in person, whatever I prefer. Yeah.
And just quickly, because I know we're probably exceeding our time, what do you get from the picture? What happens when you look at a picture as opposed to just, communicate with my cat Sally?
You know what? I actually, it's the same thing to me. There is no difference.
But does it help you?
Oh.
I'm saying,
Oh,
does
oh,
it?
okay,
Why do
I
you? Yeah.
understand.
What kind of feeling or information do you get more from a photo versus just can you talk to my cat Sally?
Because I need to see exactly that it might be many cats named Sally, and I want to make sure that
You got the right Sally.
I got the right Sally. Yes.
Because that's the thing with spirit. Other entities or spirits could be coming in to talk to you at the same time. And you're like, no, I'm talking to this Sally.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
I want to
Thank
be
you
really
for
specific.
clearing that.
Yeah. That's. Sorry, I misunderstood.
That was actually a really good question because you just wonder I'm not necessarily psychic or haven't exercised that. I don't know what they find out by looking at a photo versus just telling them.
By the way, I think
information.
you are very intuitive, and I think you are great. Actually,
Thank you. I think I am too, and becoming more. I mean, just the fact that this happened to me with my cat, which has blown me away. Now I believe more than ever, but I wouldn't maybe have picked up on all of that stuff if I wasn't intuitive.
I also want to say that intuition is not, people make it such a big, like, oh my God, these people are so gifted.
Yeah.
We all gifted.
It's natural. We're naturally telepathic.
Yes.
When you're thinking about your girlfriend and then they call you,
absolutely.
That is telepathy.
Yeah.
It's not a big mystery. It's not voodoo. It's not scary.
No.
We all have that. That's how
just,
God made us.
Exactly. It's just, it's like in medieval ages, nobody knew how to read and write. They thought, oh, you gotta be specially gifted to read and write. Well, no. It's the same as now with intuition. If you work on it and you enhance it a little bit, you work on it, you will be able totally be intuitive and do readings for yourself. And, just like psychic or medium.
And I think too, I don't really exercise and work it that much, but I think if I practiced it more, I would become more intuitive. And with time, I find myself naturally becoming more intuitive as I'm getting older, which is interesting.
And also what most important is just be open. Be open to signs, like you with your kitty. That was great. That was so clear. It was like the cat is speaking to you, like, hey, here I am. You know?
And I also want to say that, science is kind of catching up to spirituality where they can actually prove these things that you can't see and touch, like this subject. And I love the fact that I have here these documented photos of what happened spiritually of this cat coming back to me. To me, I've got hardcore proof for those people that have a hard time with it.
Absolutely.
And aren't maybe where we are at, which is fine. Nothing's wrong with not believing in this stuff. Everybody's at their different growth point at a different time, and it's okay. But I just love this subject. I love being in touch with the spiritual and God and the positive energy that's out there.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you so much for being with us today and explaining and opening my mind to, an animal can be a human can be an animal. That was new thought for me. So, we're all learning all the time. And get in touch with Donna if you'd like to have a reading on your animals, or if you would like her soul training classes, because I think I might be going next week myself. So I'm Deirdre Wilson for Out of the Blue. Thank you for being with us. We'll have another installment. You can see us on YouTube or my Facebook page, Deirdre Wilson. We'll see you next time from my heart to yours. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great. I love it. Thank you.
Sorry, I was jumping too much.